All right, hello everybody. It's Saturday night live stream time. I put my ears in here, or my headphones actually. And let's get set up. And as you guys know, I have to get set up. And it takes a few minutes. So if you guys will just stick with me, then we'll get started. Turn this on, and there's always, I was just working on to see if I could automatically set stuff up, but it didn't seem to work. So I have to go in here and do it manual. Like, for example, I've got to add the what do they call that? That is the Discord. And we'll put the Discord in. If you want to be a member of Discord, I will give you that. Let's see, invite people, and there is the link for that. And then our new channel, I'm going to put that in there too. Those of you that don't know about it, let's see. And put that there. And okay, that should be pretty good to go. And let me tell everybody it's in live stream. And then find me here. Put a few things in. And hopefully that will help people find me. And hopefully you guys are here, because I can't even see yet if what's going on. I'm just adding the stuff here, and it says 22 people are here. And I think that's it. Let's see. JeffMara podcast. All right, so I am here. I am with you guys. Lucas, good evening. You've turned 40 today. Great. Happy birthday, Lucas. I hope you're having an awesome day, and thank you for spending your birthday here with me. Sansi Array, hello. Is that Palatable? Palatable? I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Hello. White Dove Houston. That means, are you in Houston? Trevor Forrester, hello. S.L. Johnson, Penny, hello. Penny from the UK. And Cad Chambers, Saru X. And if you are looking for a greeting card, I don't have one. If I could show you hers, but if you were looking for a greeting card, you can check out Penny's Etsy store, and she sells very nice greeting cards. I think they're called Tinvites. And now it's up to 55. So you guys are in a little bit of delay. And so here we are. And my latest news is, I didn't say this last week, but I am participating in Ramadan. And for those of you who don't know what Ramadan is, I think actually Ramadan is the name of one of the months in the Islamic calendar, and during the month of Ramadan they fast. And so I've been participating in that. I'm not Muslim, but I'm participating in kind of the best way I can. And basically what you're supposed to do, from my understanding, is fast from sun up till sun down. And I think you also may want to stop bad habits, or I guess you could say bad habits during that time as well. And I feel like I'm doing, as pretty close from sun up to sundown. I really lead a probably different life than most people, and so my hours are crazy hours, and it's hard to probably completely do it perfectly. And for example, a lot of people, you know, though, like like for example, right now it's not sundown yet. It's 7 o'clock my time. It'd probably be sundown in about an hour, and I'm going to be here for 2 hours. And I just, you know, decided to start an hour early and have water and some dates. And that's kind of like the way they break the fast, or people who do it break the fast, is they have water and dates. And then if you're Islamic, or, you know, you don't have to be Islamic, but I think then they would usually go pray. And if you're not Islamic, maybe you go meditate or something. And then you would eat your meal. So I won't be eating my meal for a couple hours. So I started, you know, I did it now so I could at least have some energy for you guys, as well as I noticed for me personally, I would get heartburn if or I guess that's the right word. I'd get heartburn if sometimes toward the end, you know. And then a lot of people who practice it, they'll eat their meal and then they'll get up at like 3 or 4 or 5 in the morning and have them, and have a meal before the sun comes up. And so what I've been doing is, a lot of times I just naturally wake up around somewhere between 5 and 6, and that's usually before sunrise. So instead of having like a full meal, I'll just make like a quick protein shake and go back to bed. And so I think it's a great thing, and I think that it's something that, you know, if you can't do it perfectly, it's something that everybody should take advantage of once a year. I've already noticed that I've dropped, well, the last time I measured, I dropped like 5 pounds and about 2 to 3% body fat. So it'll be interesting to see where I'm at the end of the 29-30 days. So that's what I'm up to lately, besides just putting out lots of content for you guys. And while I'm thinking about it, if you haven't yet, I have a new channel. It's called JeffMara NDE Clips. Let me move this over here so I can see your chats. JeffMara NDE Clips, and that is for, there is an audience out there, in my opinion, that doesn't want to invest 1 hour of time to watch a full video. So I have been going through my back catalog and clipping out just the NDE alone, which is usually 5 to 15 minutes, and just, there's no intro, there's no anything. It's just, it starts right then and there, and you can watch the NDE and finish. So hopefully I will capture the new audience of that, as well as I put so the link to that is in the description below, and I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to that channel, as well as I put the Discord link in there. And for those of you that are new, Discord is kind of like Facebook, but not really. It's a place so that you can hang out with other people, and you can post whatever, I don't know about whatever you want, but you can post memes, you can post videos, you can post whatever, you can chat with each other, you can voice chat with each other. I think you can also video chat with each other. And as of now, there are about 200 and looks like 56 people there, and it stays pretty active. So that's another avenue that you might want to hang out with. And that's basically it. All right, so this live stream, what works about it is people coming and sharing, because I don't know if I can talk for 2 hours. I don't know if I have enough things to talk about. So I'm hoping that some of you guys that have been on the fence, or if you're new, will pop in. I spoke to one of my old guests today, and she might pop in, so that would be nice. And we'll see who's here and who wants to share. And also, well, how many people do we have here? What are we up to now? 100 people. All right, so at least if it was 1% of you, I always say this, but if it was 1% of you, then at least somebody would be here. And so I'm waiting on that. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the chat, and I will do my best to answer them if I can. and we will go from there. While we're hanging out and seeing if anybody's going to show up, I'll look at the calendar here and see what we've got coming for this week. Where are we here? There's May. There's April. There we are. So, let's see. I've got one NDE on Tuesday that I'll be recording, one on Thursday that I'll be recording, one on Friday and one on Saturday. So, and next Sunday. So I've got quite a few NDEs popping in, so that's great. Well, let's see here. Appreciate the good guests. Thank you. Love your interview style. Thank you very much, Eileen Worth. What are my thoughts on breatharians? I've never heard of breatharians. That's interesting. I hope it's not. I mean, if that is relating to vegetarians and you're only gonna have breath, I still think you're gonna need food. Any more honey brands that I recommend besides Manuka honey? Not off the bat. And it's funny you mentioned that. I was looking for, someone was asking me about what mushrooms to take, and I was trying to find out. I was going through my class notes, and I think I told you guys that I'm a chiropractor. I practiced for 20 years, and in 2014 I kind of stopped practicing. I think it was 2014. I got really successful in children's videos, and decided to just stop practicing and stay home and make videos. But I keep my license current, and I have to once a year do continuing education, as well as, actually last year around this time I covered someone's office for a couple weeks, but I normally don't do that, and I generally don't want to do that. But anyways, I'm not sure where I was going with this, but anyway, so the class that I've been going to for the last few years, the speaker is great, and he gives out great information. And so when we were talking about, and I thought it was just this last time, but maybe I confused it for last year. He went over the best type of mushrooms to take and what for. And I was going through my seminar notes, and I couldn't find it. So I can't help you with that, but I have other stuff in the notes if you want. And I really am into stuff about trying to clean your body. And that's one of the great things about this Ramadan is that, and I think I may have said this before, is that the people of the Middle East have the lowest rates of cancer on the planet. And I thought their first reason was because of Ramadan, because when you're fasting, your body goes into what is called autophagy, which is your body starts kind of consuming all the old bad cells and kind of cleaning up your body. And so and it does that while you give your digestive system a rest. So you're kind of resting your body by not eating all day, and then your body can clean up all those bad cells. So anyways, so we talk about stuff to take the toxicities out of your body, as well as to just try to live in a less toxic environment. For example, if you look on plastics, like if the different things that your food comes in, there's usually a triangle in the US with a number, and the safest ones that I've learned in is the plastics that are with the number 2, 4, and 5, with 5 being the best. So things like that, things about how to use turmeric. If you're going to use turmeric, it's best to consume turmeric raw for the benefits, because if it's in a powdered form, it's only effective for 30 days. And most likely, whatever turmeric powder you're buying doesn't even tell you when it was when they went through the process of creating it as a powder. So if that date is not there, then it's probably old. And then to get turmeric to work, you've got to consume black pepper at the same time, because there's something in your body that kind of doesn't let you absorb it, but black pepper inhibits that so your body can absorb it. And I probably went through a lot of questions and didn't answer anybody because I'm here just rambling along. Let's see. My wife is helping me here, and someone asked the other day, and she said eventually she's gonna pop in here and say hello to you guys. It's ironic that you're a chiropractor healing people, and now you're in a podcast and a similar healing as well, but more spiritual than physical. Do you think there's a connection? I don't know, but that is a great point that you say that, because that's one thing with this podcast that I had never suspected this to happen is so many people, if you look at the comments, tell me or say how much these podcasts help them. And then people write to me and tell me how much these podcasts help them. And it's pretty amazing. So, no, I didn't. It is ironic that you mentioned that ethereal you. What number are we up to, by the way? We're up to 132. Okay, so we're coming along. Hey Jeff, Kylie John Clark. Yes, what about Kylie John Clark? That was a good guest, right? That was a really puzzling guest. That was really interesting. His story. How do you and Mara meet? Well, that's a whole nother podcast. Intermittent fasting has helped you. Yes, intermittent fasting is great. I think it's great. And I think, and I had been doing it. And to me, the Ramadan fasting, it just takes it to the next level, because you're fasting for a longer period of time. And also Ramadan is a dry fast. So you're not even supposed to be drinking water either. Let's see. You love the black pepper one, man. Please pop in. We would love to see you. Have I missed any more? Mushroom teas, decaffeinated. Any new teas? No, I'm just still drinking my tea from Arbor Teas. As I told you guys a long time ago, I think the method is called carbon dioxide method, and that's the cleanest method of making anything decaf. And well, as it takes almost all the caffeine out. And so the tea that I buy is for fresh loose leaf tea. I get it from Arbor Teas. And then I told you guys before, the coffee I like a lot is No Fun Joe on Amazon. Check out Dr. Jason Fung, YouTube fasting and low carb diet health benefits. I found your cooking videos, and they're looking for different ways to cooking on Love Cooking channels. Yes, I do have a cooking channel. I kind of dabbled in that for a while, and the best video I have on there that like gets almost all the views is I was teaching how to make broccoli sprouts, and broccoli sprouts is another amazing thing for health. And it's real easy to do, and I show you how to make it so easily. And I just even broke it down where I'm like pouring the water and pouring it out and doing it every day, so you see the sprouts. And that video is done really, really well. And yeah, and that's something we were on it hardcore for a while, and then we kind of got off, and then we need to get back on it. But broccoli sprouts have what is that? What is the natural chemical in there? I'm sure someone in the chat's gonna know it, but oh gosh, I don't know why I can't remember it. Something fane. But there's a chemical in the broccoli sprouts that is basically 1 teaspoon of broccoli sprouts gives you more than a whole, maybe 100 times more. What was it? No, it's not that one. It's something fane. I don't know why I can't remember that one. Sulforaphane, yeah. So sulforaphane is really great as a compound that is for detoxifying you, and you get in 1 teaspoon of broccoli sprouts, you get 100 times what you would have in a whole cup of broccoli. So we were making them and giving them to the kids and putting them in shakes and drinking them. Yeah, see, Penny knows sulforaphane. I don't know why I couldn't remember that. But yeah, so we are making those all the time. And the thing is with the broccoli sprouts is if you're going to make a shake or if you're going to eat them, they taste great in salads too, fresh. But if you're going to make them, they only last for 5 days. So, I give you the whole thing. It takes 5 days, 5.5 days to make them. And then after you make them, they're only good for 5 days. And for some reason, the amount of sulforaphane just disappears in the sprouts. So the day one, you can eat them fresh. The rest of the days, you need to freeze them. And the sulforaphane becomes available once you actually break up the cell walls of the sulforaphane. So actually freezing them kind of breaks them down and it makes them even more potent. Anyway, so yeah, that's a great video, and so many people on that, I guess have trouble making them. So that's something that's there. Man, I don't have that in the thing, but it's there. And a lot of crazy stuff, because I've been doing YouTube for so long, since 2006, right? That's how long I've been doing it, before even Google acquired it. In the beginning, I was making chiropractic videos, all kinds of videos. And then around 2010, I started making Thomas the Train videos with my son. And it just grew from there and there. And so the cooking channel was, I was just kind of dabbling. What kind of videos would people like to watch? More informative videos, like how to make stuff and recipes, or more kind of like crazy stuff and making weird foods and whatever. And for that channel, what really worked was the broccoli sprouts. So, yes, put them in potato salad, put them in everything. 150 people, so you can check that out. You have broccoli now every night and kale every night. That's good. Good stuff. There's a guy on TikTok. I don't know if you know him. And I don't remember his name. I think it's Carnivore MD. And the guy says that basically all you should eat is meat, organs, fruits, and honey. And that's about it. He tells you that eating anything, eating vegetables is BS. Eating leaves is BS, which means kale, spinach, lettuce. He says it's medicinal that works, but otherwise it's BS. I don't know about that, but it's something to really think about. But if everybody consumed meat and no one, it would just kind of probably trash the planet, because you would need many, many more animals on the planet that we already have. Thank you so much for your fascinating work. Your calm demeanor and interesting guests have been a great help in dealing with grief after my sister. See, Colleen, this is an exact example of what I was speaking of earlier. After my sister passed away, peace, light, and love to all. So see, this is a great example of what I was saying, that these videos help everybody. And actually, I think for me, being a chiropractor, it's a funny thing that we were talking about earlier, probably helped in a way, is because before I would when I would first greet the patient, I first got to sit down and ask him, okay, Mr. Jones, what are you here for today? Tell me about your problem. And I would sit and listen to their problem and then ask them questions about their problem. So being with the guests is kind of the same thing in a way. And our most dedicated viewer and contributor is here. I was wondering, Steven usually shows up about 8 o'clock. He's a little bit early, but maybe he popped in because he saw that we have no one available. And before
people were wondering,
there you are.
Come back. He's gonna come back.
He's here.
Life finds a way. It finds a way. It creeps. It crawls. It changes genders at will. Yes.
That's Jurassic Park.
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah. I remember that. I was saying that usually you come around 8, and I was thinking, well, he's here.
You didn't have anyone on your show.
Yeah, there's no show.
Excited to stop by.
It was just me. Maybe this will help people that were.
I was tired of listening to you talk about Brussels sprouts.
Did you? It was interesting, and I was telling him the other day. If you listen to Paul, did you watch the one with Paul Anthony Wallace that I posted yesterday? If you kind of close your eyes.
Yeah, I watched them all.
If you close your eyes, his voice sounds pretty close to Russell Crowe.
I
And
have
then
to work
also a
on
little
that accent.
that and a little bit close to Ewan McGregor too.
Happy
Obi-Wan
birthday to
Kenobi.
Lucas. I'm
Yeah.
only 38 years old. He's got a little bit on me, but I'm catching up.
What is your real estate forecast? Is it a good thing, Donald?
It's all big wins all the time.
So what do you got new for us, bud?
Well, I get paranormal juggling videos.
Uh-oh. What do you
Yeah,
mean?
so I
Paranormal juggling. That's interesting.
well, I just juggle. Like I don't try to get anything paranormal,
Yeah.
but um this light box appears on my window and I can't see it with my eyes. It only picks it up with the camera. And this time it looked like a woman gets up, moves, walks to the right, goes out of frame, and then comes back to the left, turns off the light, and then you can see her walk back across. I have no clue what's doing this.
I'm confused. This is on you were watching a video, or this is happening in your house?
So what I do is I set up a camera to record myself juggling, just as feedback, and then occasionally I get paranormal activity on it. I'll get spirit orbs or this light box on the window, and I don't know how to explain it other than it looks like if I held a computer monitor right near the window. That's what it looks like, but there's no device there or anything.
Wow.
So I uploaded that I think this morning, so I didn't get much sleep. And I was like, I'll just reuse all the music. Nobody cares. I'll just reuse all the music. It was a half-ass job, but I mean,
Now
I
don't you,
will post it under here so people can see. I have no clue what it is, but you can clearly see it looks like a woman gets up, walks out of it's
now don't you have
here's the problem with uploading. Yeah, uploading to YouTube, it lowers the quality too. So on the spirit orb video I have there's about 10,000 orbs swirling around like I'm in a snowstorm. But when I upload it to YouTube, you can only maybe see 1,000 orbs.
I was just going to say, it would be awesome if you could come on here and we could get you and orbs at the same time. I don't know how you saw them that one time, but if you could get them to come back while you're here, that would be amazing.
I've never seen them with my eyes.
Oh, wow.
But I tell you, I have a spirit friend with me all the time. She gets me to dance, holds my hand, sits on my bed, and like I can feel her presence off to the left.
Did you post
So
that
I
orb?
know you know about the spirit
Right.
dance videos where I just let her move me.
Did you post that orb video on YouTube? Did you post that orb video on YouTube?
Yeah, it's on there. But the quality's so low.
Oh, okay. So after the podcast, maybe you can go to Steven's video and check it out. Because I think there was like, I mean, an amazing amount of orbs just flying all over the place.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's if I knew how to, I don't really know what the compression and all that is. But you can't see all the orbs that I can see on the original.
That would be amazing. Imagine if you saw.
There's a lot of videos that get like millions of views and they only have one orb.
Interesting. You know, maybe it's shown really clearly. So let's.
My internet must be bad.
Yeah, you're glitching today. Has anybody ever told you you're glitchy? Did you catch that? I'm not even sure if are you hearing me?
I can hear you a little, but not all of it.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, has anybody ever told you you're glitchy? You're glitching. Sounds like, like it would
Not
be some kind of slang term. Yeah. Hey, Steven, you're pretty glitchy. So how often are you posting videos?
Well, I posted an impression video, and then I've been doing a few juggling videos, just record myself, and then occasionally do a dancing video
Spirit dance.
where I let my spirit friend move me. Like, yeah, she's not shy at all. So, like, wherever I go, and I know I've told you this, like, she'll be moving my arms. Like, if I'm in a supermarket, I'm like, yeah, everyone, if anyone looks at me, they probably think I'm nuts. But
You know, it'd be cool. What about if you do you have do you have a smartphone, a mobile phone?
mobile,
Does it have video where you can make video with it?
probably very crummy videos.
Oh, too bad. I was gonna say it'd probably be crazy if someone can video or you could video yourself and have her controlling you at the grocery store. That might get millions of views. And he's frozen.
Yeah, I can't do Biden. People ask that, but I could do Bush,
You can
pretending
do.
to be Biden.
Can
Hello,
do.
my feral Americans. World War III is now started. Germany has invaded Iraq. Weapons of mass destruction, nuclear warheads, and Mohabs have been found. Hiding with the weapons inspectors we left behind on 9/11. Hunter Biden led us to it by sniffing out the mozzarella trail on his laptop. Let me make this Cuervos. Either you're with us or you're against us.
That's pretty good.
Thank you.
I don't know if you heard me, but I was saying if you can video yourself at the grocery store of you and Monique's making you dance in the grocery store, that might get millions of views.
Yeah. I've heard people say, yeah, start TikTok and all that. It's like, well, in my view, it's like the reason why I have a spirit with me is because my life is so hard. So it's like, in my view, people should be helping me get my life back.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, your family and your friends do that. And I know you said start a GoFundMe, but it's like, it's kind of like a backwards thing. It's like if someone's suffering, like they're in a car accident, you just bring them to the hospital. You just get them help. You don't
Right.
say raise them.
Well, you have 150 friends here, but we're not all in Minneapolis to help you out. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's Duluth, Minnesota.
I mean, Duluth. Sorry.
Yeah, if they just, in my view, it's all about getting the ball rolling in the right way.
Right.
So it's like for instance, when I was wrongfully punished, it's like if the judge just upheld my rights, then I would, they should, it's 2 years in jail for telling lies to have someone punished, but they don't enforce it at all. The justice system doesn't.
Have you? You haven't had an NDE, have you?
I've had many spiritual experiences. Like, for instance, I prayed to Jesus and he pulled me out of my body, and then we went through the spirit world. I can't remember everything he said, but I was surrounded by his presence, like almost like an infant on,
wow.
Like they wear like where you're on your chest. So like he's surrounding me, like his aura. And so I had an extreme anxiety at the time. So like my hands would be shaking and yawning all the time. And he helped me get over that, because he said, do not worry. It won't add a day to your life. So I try not to worry. And then I felt this presence for about 2 or 3 hours after that in the middle of the night. So I felt like if you had that much power, then his mission makes sense, because we don't have that much power.
That's interesting. So did you actually see Jesus, or you just felt his presence?
I would say it's more that I was surrounded by his presence than anything. And then in the spirit world, everything, I know that people said this, but everything is telepathy too.
All right. Did he identify himself as Jesus?
Oh, you just know.
You just know?
Yeah, like you just, I had, I occasionally have dreams where they're like either prophetic or spirit world
Yeah.
oriented. And I had an uncle that died and he was mentally handicapped. And I instantly recognized him and he was good looking. And he said that, like, he was saying, like, there's going to be some help because, like, I was, I had 4 years of basically being tortured. The last year I haven't been tortured in this group home, but it was very, very hard. So I do think the spirit world can see what's going on.
How did your experience with Jesus change you? Did it, make any changes in your life or what?
I started off trying to communicate. This is probably when I was around 18, 19, 20, somewhere in there. Uh, what's that?
This happened prior to you being where you're living at now. Is that correct?
The Jesus experience was, but not my uncle. My uncle died. One of them died not that long ago. So,
All right. Interesting.
but
Yeah.
they're fully better, and you recognize. I've heard people say that everyone has a sound, but it might be a vibration that we're just recognizing.
I'm glad I asked. You've been here, and I never actually asked. I'm surprised I never asked what was your spiritual experience. We're
Yeah,
always.
when I asked I started getting into spiritual things after high school, and I asked my spirit guide to communicate, and she woke me up and said, "Do not be afraid. This is the love of God." And it felt like a jackhammer going off in my head, like, and it was super hard to understand her, but we had like some kind of communication like that.
Mm-hmm. I see your comments, and I think that you're under the belief that ETs are demons. Am I correct in that by saying that? Or, aliens are demons
I
or
think the
evil
ones that
spirits?
are like the grays and all that, yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
think the grays and all those type are not they're not in this world. They can like pop into this world somehow,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not your friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know what
I
they
think
are.
I told you once.
I've considered
I
that they're
don't think
actually
your friend, they
robots.
can act. I don't really know what they are, but the theory that resonates with me is that they're spiritual beings, and spiritual beings can't reproduce, and so they're obsessed with art that we can reproduce here. And
Mm-hmm.
if you notice that trend, they always say, "Oh, we need you, we need your help," and they want to say, "Oh, we need you, you're special." And a lot of some of these people have been abducted their whole lives.
Right. Oh, well, that's interesting because if they can't reproduce, then they should eventually go extinct.
Not spiritual beings.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
you're correct on that. But spiritual beings, they don't age.
speaking of things going extinct and not extinct, I may have talked about this last time that I booked these guys that made a documentary film on Bigfoot. And I think that's their documentary
I've
is
had
really
dreams with
compelling.
Bigfoot. I think he's a nature spirit, a friendly nature spirit, kind of like fairies and other.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I think they're friendly, but they're kind of, doing their own thing. I don't think they're that interested in what humans are up to.
Right. All right, Stephen, I should go to the next guest. I've seen her here. She popped out. I think she popped back and she's been waiting. So let me get to the next guest here. But thank you for coming in this week and coming in and saving me here while nobody was here. See, I think it helped get the ball rolling.
all right, man, you got to do what you got to do.
Yes, I do.
And thank you, Jeff. You're doing a great job, and
Thank you.
everyone appreciates it. And I appreciate all the comments and all the well wishing that I get.
Yeah. Well, thank you, bud.
Bye.
Cheers. All right, so we got Jenifer here, and while I'm bringing her here, I didn't say, but I wanted to say to Colleen, I'm sorry for your sister's loss, and I want to offer my sincerest condolences. There she is.
Oh, hi.
Hey, here we go. Jenifer was a past guest before. She's Filipino, but she lives in Canada, and we talked about her NDE. Where are you at home?
Yeah, I'm at home.
That's
I was
interesting.
actually listening.
I was looking at the wall behind you. It's like, is that wallpaper, or that on the wall looks nice?
Yeah, it's a wallpaper. I don't know, maybe a wall decal.
Cool.
And then plants just like that.
Yeah. And so what's been going on? Haven't seen you in a little while.
Yeah.
Just hug you.
Hello.
Go and eat the supper. Go.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, been busy for coming spring.
Have you had any new spiritual experiences?
I do have a lot of them since I was young. I will just give one at a time. Maybe next time when I had time again to join with your podcast, I will tell you some more. This one happened to me when I was younger. When I was younger, I grew up in a very not so populated place. It's a very province of Philippines, and in the middle island, south of the main city. Then on that island, there is ocean in there. And then I used to swim and play in the beach because that's very close where my grandma lives, where I grew up too, with my best friend, Jerry. And then on that, I don't know how to swim. I was around 15 years old, around that time. And so when I was swimming there, I did not know that I was underwater for so long already. So I dive, and then I was in the water, and then under the water, my body was under the water, and then I was playing on the sand. I was playing in the sand with the water, and then those small little shells. And then after a while, I said, wait a minute, I've been here underwater for quite some time. And said, why I can still breathe, but I'm not breathing through my nose, but I can breathe. I said, wait a minute, I've been here for a while. Why I'm still breathing? And then I said, or maybe I'm just making up this from my head, I said. So I said, maybe I will count 1 to 10, I said. So I counted 1 to 10 and said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know, that normal counting, the normal rhythm. But still, I am still breathing. I don't need to breathe oxygen. I'm still underwater. How come? And so I said, maybe this is just my head again. And so I said, or maybe I will count up to 20. And so I count again, regular rhythm, 1, 2, 3, and then up to 20. And still, I don't need to breathe. Like, I don't need to get out from the water. I'm still breathing. I can still, you know, my brain is still working and everything. I'm still underwater. And so I said, no way, I can be underwater for so long. And so I said, okay, now I'm going to count up to 100. So I did count up to 100 regular rhythm, and still the same. After I counted up to 100, that's the time that I heard people's voices, different voices. Female, male, young, old, and other voices that I couldn't understand. I couldn't understand what they're talking. I don't know what language was that. And then I freaked out that time. I freaked out. And then I said, oh my gosh, I can hear them. And then I said, I couldn't even. And then I get so scared. And then I said, why I can still breathe underwater? And that is so long. Imagine if you count the rhythm one up to 100. It will take you, let's say the fastest would be 3 minutes or more, like that. And then it never ever happened again. That's the only time that I remember that kind of interaction with nature, that I was able to breathe and survive for that long. I think it would take me 10 minutes, 8 minutes underwater. You need to add also the 10 numbers that I counted, the 20 numbers that I counted in regular rhythm, not the fastest 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, not like that, just the regular 1, 2, 3, something like that. And then it never ever happened to me again. I just remember to share this because I was watching with your other the person that you interviewed, that says that when you come here on earth, you have already lived in different lifetime, and maybe you could be an animal, maybe you could be a stone, maybe you could be something else. And then I said to myself, maybe my past life was I was a fish.
Maybe.
Who knows?
How did that end? Did you just stand up and get out of the water, or what happened?
Yes, because I heard those voices. I heard it, but no people was there. I was just alone, alone in that beach. I was all by myself because that was early morning. And then after I counted up to 100, I heard that voices. After I heard that voices, it come up into my head that I can breathe for that so long. And then I said, maybe I will die. Maybe they will take me. Maybe the mermaids will take me. Maybe, who knows, we're going to take me. Maybe I won't be able to survive. So I get up, run away as fast as I can to my grandma's house. That was my first interaction with the ocean. That until now, I couldn't go to the ocean and put my head under the water, only up to my here, up to my neck.
Was this
Yeah,
before or after your NDE?
after my NDE.
So
This was
wow,
after
maybe
my
you
NDE.
had some kind of effect.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe my lifetime before I was a fish, I was a mermaid, I was who knows.
What about this? I was talking to these guys a little while back from the Philippines, and we were talking about elementals. Did you grow up believing in elementals?
I haven't seen any elementals before. Yes, I heard them. Yes, I felt them, but I've never seen them even once. I've seen them in pictures. Like I can see, if you gave me a picture and then let me analyze the picture and see the picture, which normal people won't be able to see what's in there, or if that picture, that scene maybe get an elementals or a shadow or a soul. Mostly normal people that has a normal ability, like just regular people, they won't be able to see that, but I can see that one. I would be able to pinpoint which is the soul, which is not the soul. Most of the time I have that one. But in like real life, or in how to say this, I don't know how to say this. Like if you send me to a place and ask me, do you see anything else, I won't be able to say that, but I would feel. But if you took picture and you can see anything, I will be able to see if there's something there or not.
How would
Something
you
like that.
how would you describe what an elemental is?
Elementals, they are lots of forms. They are lots of forms. I haven't seen them, I just felt them. Some of them are good. Sometimes they are like shadowy, black shadowy. Sometimes they are white shadows too. Sometimes they form in a different scary form, like you've never imagined, you've never seen before, even the horror movies. I have a friend in Norway. She can see since she was younger. She saw hands floating, and then she saw also that I don't know how you call it, that black guy that goes on top of the people when they have nightmares. Yeah, that one. And then sometimes they were being they were being excuse me, they have been documented in emergency rooms or ICUs, that was been taken in a CCTV. She able to saw one of those or more, and then she also can see those around those World War One people marching. She would be able to see that, but I can't see that, but I can feel and I can hear. I can also smell and taste.
Wow.
And also I would be able to smell if this elemental is good or bad, by their smell. If I smell something really bad smell, it means they are bad. Don't go there, or don't try to interact with them. If I smell something like flowery, roses, especially roses, or like perfumey, and water smell, I can smell water. And then if the taste also, let's say, if my tongue would be if my tongue would taste something like something sour or something sweet or something like that, that's good. If my tongue would taste um something bitter or something tangy or something like a pin that pinch my tongue, it means they are bad. So I don't go there.
Mm.
Because we have lots of senses. None of them is way more than the other. Some people can see, but some people can smell. But whatever they smell, it recognizes your consciousness, and then your consciousness would tell you what it is. It's automatic.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I don't know if you saw the video that I posted the other day. I think it was like 2 days ago, but this is the first time I've had it with an NDE, and I thought it was really a great video. This guy was mountain biking through the forest,
Yes.
and yeah,
Yeah, I saw that.
he had an NDE, and when he came back
Yes.
conscious, he saw
So
fairies.
fairies.
Yeah, I thought that
Yeah.
was really cool, and I'm surprised
Yeah.
that a lot more people didn't watch that video. But
Yeah.
that was a nice kind of confirmation of, that he saw fairies.
Yeah, they're true. They're true because, as what I said, I have a friend in Norway. Her kids, she got two kids. Both of her kids can see fairies, and one of the eldest one was telling her about fairies, and then she said they live in the mountains, and then she said, "Mommy, there's a fairy that came here and visit me, and she said that she's not coming back again because they're going home." And then she said she wants to go there. And then the fairy said, no, you can't go with us because it's way, way far away.
Hmm.
That's what the child said.
Oh, that's cool. All right,
Yeah.
Jenifer, I better run. I've got someone else
Mm.
waiting, but thank you so much for coming by and and sharing with us. And it sounds like you got a lot more to share, so don't be a stranger.
Okay, thank you.
All right, take
And you're
care.
welcome.
Thank you. Okay,
Bye.
bye-bye. All right, so we've got Johnny next. Let's see. And I wish I could remember, instantly remember I wish I could tell you what number I had her when she was a guest, but I just can't remember. I don't even remember the title. Anyways, Johnny's on his way in. I hadn't really been paying attention, maybe because I've only had, 2 guests so far, and obviously I know who Steven was, and I had seen Jenifer here before. But I'm still concerned on who's going to show up, when we had that problem.
Can you hear
I
me?
talked about that. I can hear you. I just can't see you.
Yeah, I think my camera had a little bit of a seizure.
Uh-oh. Well, let's see if we can get it
So
on.
I've been trying, but it's not working.
It's not
Um,
working. All right. Well, we'll just talk to you then, and in the meantime. So, where are you from, Johnny?
I'm from Toronto, Canada.
From Toronto. Okay. Jennifer was just there was another Canadian. I think she's more from the Winnipeg area.
Yeah, pretty close still.
So,
So all I want to say,
do you have an experience to share with us?
I have a lot to unpack, Jeff. But the first thing I want to say is, I love what you do. This is amazing because there's not that many people that do what you do,
Thank you.
and you have such an unbiased opinion, and you just accept everybody, and it's amazing because you don't get that from most
Thank you.
people. And yeah, so okay, well, my experience has been starting since I was a child.
I'm going to stop you for
I've
1 second. Is there any way you can make yourself a little bit louder? Because I'm having trouble hearing you. And if I am, the audience may as well. Can you get closer to your mic or anything?
Is this better?
No.
No, eh? How about now?
Yes, that's better. Thank you.
That's better. Okay. So basically, since I was a child, I've been seeing a lot of things. And when you're growing up as a kid, you don't have that many people to talk to. So I kind of pushed it away. I used to cry a lot, and I told my parents about it. They never understood me very well, so I kind of pushed it away for a long time. I was raised Catholic, and basically all the beliefs your parents tell you, if you're seeing things, you're hearing things, everything's bad. If it's this, everything's a demon, or this is you're not supposed to believe in that stuff, and this and that, or they think you're making stuff up. So I kind of pushed that away for a long time, joined the military, and then I started having experiences in the military. I was in the Canadian Armed Forces. I did a couple tours in Afghanistan.
Wow.
And when I started, yeah, and I started realizing that it was coming back to me, even though I didn't want it, it was coming back. And like for an example, we had a casualty that happened over there. Two of my friends that have died. I actually saw them come to me before, maybe 3 hours before we found out they even passed away. So it was kind of trippy. And I try to explain that to people like, yo, I just saw them. And they're like, what were you talking about? They're like 300 kilometers over this way. They're like, you know what, whatever. And then 3 hours later it comes back and they're like, yeah, this is what happened. So it just kind of blew my mind. So then I got home, and then after the tour, and I was like, you know what, I got to put this away. I go, there's something going on here. And then I had a whole spiritual thing. I'm like, okay, I'm Catholic, and I everybody's telling me this is bad. You shouldn't follow this. The biggest thing with being a Catholic is it made me, it almost hurt my soul because all the beliefs, I'm not saying if you're Catholic it's bad, but everything I truly believed in my heart was I didn't understand all the things with people who are gay, they couldn't like love each other, all that. I was against pretty much all the beliefs that the Catholic installed in people. Like I was like, this is not right. So I kind of pushed that away to the side. And basically what happened, I started just welcoming my gift and bringing it. And then I started doing a lot of astral projecting, coming out of my body and having all these beautiful experiences. But the one I want to talk to about, because there's a lot of stuff I want to talk to, but I don't think I have enough time, is I had an astral projection. Um, basically, the way what happens with me, I know everybody's different. You have mediums and all this stuff. Anytime I ask and I meditate, and I usually get my answer within an hour, 2 hours, or something happens. And what I found out is I think we all have this amazing power inside of all of us. We are all divine. We have everything. It's just if you can put your heart and your mind together in an outer intention, anything's possible for anyone if you truly believe and you're searching your answer. So basically, with me being out of the military, I came back with PTSD. So I used to have a lot of nightmares and a lot of bad stuff, a lot of bad thoughts. So I did I exhausted all my routes of source. I went to a psychologist, got my brain scanned, did all these things just to make sure like I wasn't losing my mind because all these things that I was seeing, hearing, and feeling was just it's not normal, right? So come back, did all my tests, everything's good to go. They're like, your brain's perfect. You don't do drugs, you don't drink, and you've been doing this stuff since you were a child. So you go do what you're doing. You're not hurting anybody. So that was a good thing for me. So what for my astral projection, what I was asking is I had a lot of bad thoughts, a lot of anger when I came back, and I even told this to my wife and my kids. And I'm like, listen, I go, I'm having bad thoughts of doing bad things to you, to the kids, to everything. But it was like almost like an internal fight because these thoughts would come into my head. And I'm like, this is not me. I would never do this thing. Like I would jump in front of a car before I touch one of my kids or my wife or a friend or anybody. So I started searching and meditating. I'm like, why are these thoughts coming into my head? And then one night I went and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna figure this out. I did an astral projection, and I came out. So not astral projection, out of body experience. So I pulled myself out of my body, which I do on a regular basis. And what would happen was I saw my body. I put myself in the corner. I was watching my body vibrate, and all of a sudden I saw this black cloud come to me. It was coming to my head, and they were talking, and all I hear is like one. It was a voice I've never heard before, and it says he's frozen. And I'm like, what's going on? And I'm like
Mm.
looking at him, and I was literally trying to push the shadow away, but then it couldn't happen. Like it's like I wasn't there. Like they couldn't see me they couldn't see my soul. And what I was trying to figure out, I'm like, you know what? I go, what spirit was trying to tell me is that when your soul vibrates so much higher than the plane that we live on here. So our bodies and all these lower entities or all these, I don't know what you call them, shadows, because they're everywhere all the time. And so it gave me the answer saying, listen, this is why you're thinking like this. They're attacking you while you're sleeping. And it showed me. And it was, for me, that was kind of like a big aha moment. I'm like, listen, this is what's happening. These are why these thoughts are coming to my head. And they couldn't see me because we vibrate so much higher when we're out of our bodies. Our bodies down here are just low vibration. So it was a big thing for me to figure out. And I just kind of wanted to share that with you guys, that anything that you think, I don't know about, like any bad thought that you have or stuff that you know that you shouldn't be thinking this way, or it's not you. It's if you let things manifest into yourself, it's not going to be good. Just be strong, and that's all it is. The way I see it.
Thank you for sharing that. So a few questions I have is, did the spirit guide tell you how to keep these negative entities from, you know, being
Keeping
around
them
you
away from
and
me.
causing you to have all these negative thoughts and stuff? How do you keep the negative entities away?
That's the thing. I'm still in my learning process now, that because I've just, like, in the last couple of years started doing this. I have to learn how to clear my body. I know how to like protect myself. I do a lot of meditation, a lot of healing with myself, and I'm able to block it away. But when you're dreaming or when you're in your sleep state, there's only so much you can do.
Mm.
So that was my whole thing that I was saying. So that's why these thoughts were coming into my head, and it kind of made me, you know what? I go, it's not me, and I knew this is the whole time that I go, I'm not that kind of a person. I've never been like, I've never started a fight with anybody. Like, I've always been that protector. I've always just been, I'm not saying I'm the best. I did a lot of bad stuff growing up as a kid. We get in trouble and stuff like that. But I never had no malice towards anyone, never bad intention towards anybody. So I knew these thoughts were not right. I go, this can't be wrong. And like I told you, I think it was last week, I wanted to come on because there's so much to unpack that I want to tell you, like
Mm-hmm.
from as a child and
Mm-hmm.
growing up and stuff like that. It's pretty cool,
Mm.
and pretty interesting for sure.
Can
But
you can you get out of your body at will, or is it a spontaneous thing?
no, I will pretty much now. It used to be when I was a child. I used to get a lot of sleep paralysis, and
Mm-hmm.
what I found out is as soon as you get scared, even if you come out of your body, you get scared, you bounce back right into your body right away.
Mm.
But I would never go to the further step.
Mm.
So the same thing, like I said, I was young,
Mm.
growing up Catholic, and I tell my parents this was happening to me. They're like, "Yo, that's bad. That's bad. You need to pray. You need to pray. You need to go to confess." I'm like, "Confess what? I don't do anything wrong. I'm a kid. Like I don't do anything wrong." So it's a little different. Um, but yeah, anybody can do it. It's for out of body experience. There's so many videos on YouTube. You can do it as long as you have the right intentions to do it. You're not just doing it for shits and kicks, like just for fun. If you're supposed to see it and it's supposed to happen to you, it will happen to you, 100%.
It's interesting that you mentioned fear, because we talked about this last week, about fear making it difficult, or making it not able for people to be able to get out of their body because of the fear. How do you quiet the fear to be able to get out of your body?
How do I quiet the fear? Basically, I'm not really scared anymore. That was more when I was a child. Um, it's almost like you have to understand what's happening to you. Everything that happens to us is for a reason. It's to see how we react. Like there's always two choices you could pick: fear or love.
Mm.
If you go towards love, if you do any decision with your heart, it's you're good. You'll always be good. Any decision, like fear is, we're meant to feel fear. That's the part. Like we were all meant to feel fear. It's how do you react to that and how do you cope with that. But like when you say like for me, I usually meditate and I relax. Before I do my OBE, before I go to sleep, I'll do nice 10, 15 minutes. I'll just relax, calm down, and yeah, and it just the focus. It could take 10 minutes. Sometimes it takes half an hour,
Mm.
but it's usually I'll do it 5 out of 6 times if I try it. Right, so it's not it's it takes a little bit of practice, but with the right intentions, you can do it.
Cool.
But the one thing I didn't share about this story, also when I was happening when I saw the cloud there and they were talking, there's one way always to make these things go away. Everybody has different beliefs. Uh, Jesus, Buddha, all the stuff. I was calling for Yeshua. I called for Jesus, and as soon as I said the name, bang, they were gone,
Mm. Oh,
disappeared.
oh, great. Oh, that's cool. That's good to know.
So there's always someone you can call. I'm not saying you have to believe in Jesus. I'm not saying you have to believe in this person. You have to have a belief in something, because we didn't just show up here. And there's somebody always protecting every single one of us from the day we were born. And like certain things, like in Afghanistan, we had a friendly fire, and someone dropped a 5,000 pound as a JDAM. It's supposed to kill a square kilometer. We call it a grid flipper. So anything within that radius of that 1 kilometer, you'd be dead. So I mean, like we had that. It happened to us twice, and it didn't even go off. You know what I mean? So there's some
Mm.
kind of protection there for everybody. Like it's just you got to believe. You don't have to have doubts. If you have doubts, it's not going to work out. You got to go in with an open mind and believe and have something.
Mm. Um, he- um, real quick.
I'm
here.
nervous. Sorry.
Oh
I
no,
know I'm
you're
all over the
fine.
place.
No, you're not. I would never know you're nervous. Anyways, I was going to say that I've already recorded it and I'm planning on posting it tomorrow. I have a guest that served in Iraq, a combat veteran that ran a 50 cal on top of a Humvee or something. Anyways, he never got shot over there, but when he got back, he got shot 7 times and had an NDE. So
Wow.
for those of you that might find that interesting, that surviving 7 shots and still here. 3 of them, I believe, were in the head too.
Yeah, I know. It's like we all have it. We're all here for a reason. Whether you want to look for it or not, that's up to you. You can be content. I don't think there's any wrong decisions we make in our life. It's just you pick you pick which way you want to go, and hope for the best. But there's always someone there helping us along the way, 100%.
Right.
If you go with your gut and your heart, you'll never be wrong, for sure.
Right. All right, bud. Well, I got to go to the next person, but thanks for coming in, and I hope when you come back next time, you'll have your camera working so we can see you.
For sure. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right. Take care.
All right.
Mhm.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. So let's get Veronica on. Don't report. And I saw in there from Ed Graves. Ed, to get on, all you need is Zoom. And once you get the Zoom app, I put in there my room ID, I think is what it's called, and then the passcode. So if you just enter those in, you should be able to get on.
No.
Hello? Oh, there you are.
Hi. Again, it happened again. I can hear you twice.
Oh, okay? So what's probably going on is you may have the YouTube still on as well.
Yes.
So if you find the YouTube video, mute that, and then just be on Zoom.
There.
There you go.
Got it.
Well, hello, Veronica. Have you been on? Have you been on before?
I have.
I thought I recognized you.
You probably recognize the background.
No, I recognize you.
Oh, thank you.
Mhm.
Thanks for doing that, for recognizing. But you call me by my first name, not my nickname, which is what I used last time, Ronnie.
Ronnie, okay.
Yeah. So that's my nickname. When I came to the States, people were having difficulties saying Veronica.
Really?
So they shortened it and they started calling me Ronnie.
Oh, wow. Where are you at again?
In Maryland?
In Maryland. Okay, yes. It's all coming back to me now. I remember.
Yeah, I was really hyper that day when I talked to you the first time, because I was actually driving and I got notification that you were live. So I decided, I made it home. I took the dogs out for their bathroom break. I came back inside and did everything. So by the time I sat down to talk to you, I was like, okay, I need to calm down.
Oh, well, I didn't notice. I didn't
Oh,
notice that. I
good. Because
couldn't,
I was super nervous. I was just super nervous when we finally.
Well, thanks for coming back. What do you have to share today?
Well, I found my list of experiences that I've had, but I gotta say, first of all, while driving back home as well today, I got notification that you were live, and I was listening to everything you had to say before your guest started speaking. And you said that you've received a lot of emails and comments about people that have said that NDE has actually helped them.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, I quit my job after 21 years, and I did it thanks to you.
Wow. I don't
And
know.
your
I don't know if
and
that, quitting your
NDE,
job's a big deal. Wow. I
it
hope
is,
it's a good
and
thing.
it's not that I had plan B, plan C, none. It was just I've been listening to your interviews. I don't know for how long, but everybody talks about the same thing when they come back, and it was that we have free English, albedrío in Spanish. We have free will, and everybody that comes back always says, life is very simple, and we have free will, and they share the messages, and 99% of the time the messages are that we are not here to suffer but to love, and love, it's the real meaning for everything. So it was a combination of all the times that I listened to the interviews that I finally said, this is not my life. This is not my life. So I said, I don't have, again, plan B, plan C. I don't even have a job right now. But I have to say that I took the first steps to get back to my path, to get back to my...
Can you share with us what your job was?
I worked with the government, the local government, and I was in administration. And I lived a lot of harassment, discrimination. So I put up with it for a long time. I was 21 years with the government, but 14 years with this specific department. And when I heard all the NDEs, everybody's messages, it was like, this is not it. This job, this situation, it's not it. There's more in life than just this. So I knew I needed to find my path. I knew there was something else. I just didn't know, and I still don't know what it is. But I knew that if I stayed there, I was never going to get back to what I needed to be doing. Whatever that is, I still don't know. So it was necessary for my own self-love, for my own respect, in order to find my path again and to keep my promise. I needed to leave. I just needed to leave.
Do you want to, I'm sure you've thought about it. Do you want to go into some completely different profession?
Yes.
Do you have any idea what you want to do?
All I know is that I need to let my imagination run. I am creative. I have a year of architecture and design. And I never finished that career, and I don't think that I will. But my mind is constantly thinking of what can I create? What can I do? Colors, creation, recycling, upcycling, everything, anything that has to do with letting my brain create. that's what I want to do. So eventually I may have, I don't know, a kiosk in farmers markets, and sell my products. Um, Another thing that I have in mind, I always had pets, and for whatever reason, my pets have a longer longevity than my relationships, my personal relationships. So everybody says to me, "You're very good with pets. You take good care of them," and always compliment the way I treat my dogs. I cook for them. I try to do everything natural for them, medicine wise as well. So everybody has said to me, "Why don't you open a doggy daycare?" Completely the opposite.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe you have some kind of calling to do with pets.
Yes. So I've had the longest one that lived was she lived to be almost 25 years. And recently I helped Canela cross over. She was 19 and she was having seizures. So I contacted their holistic vet and she said, it's time. So something in that,
Have you ever considered dog grooming, pet grooming? Because that's pets and you could be really great at grooming pets and make them look so beautiful.
I had 4 and I've groomed them all this time, but it gets, oh my God, it gets so tiring. So I need something creative, something that would, everything you see here is just ideas, books and books and books of how to do all sorts of things, because I want my mind to be free and do something, creative. So it's going to be somewhere in that
That'll
area.
Be interesting. That'll be cool.
Yeah.
Have you had have you had any paranormal experiences with dogs?
Oh my God, many. But I never before thought of them being paranormal. To me, it was something that happened. Like I said to you before, the first time that you interviewed me, to me, it was something that happened and then I would let it go. Back then it was like, it happens to everybody. Or I would give an explanation. I would self-explain myself what I saw, what I felt. But never until I started listening to your podcast and the interviews that I realized, wait a minute, there's a pattern here. There's something that is, truly going on since your prior guest said, since childhood. I remember I was also raised Catholic. So I did the first communion and then my mom signed me up to do, I don't know what's next after the first communion. Confirmation, I think.
Maybe.
So within the second Sunday school, I got up because the priest, the priest kept saying that we were sinners and that we were going to go to hell and God was not going to open the door for us once we got to heaven. And he kept saying that he knew that we were bad kids. So trying to input fear since very young. I was 9. Now on the second Sunday class, I raised my hand. He asked a question and I raised my hand and I said, I don't believe anything you're saying. And he said, why not? And I said, because God is a good God and he loves all his children. He doesn't discriminate, and his door to heaven is always open to all of us. And the priest said to me, grab your books and get out. Come back when you believe. So I went back home at 9 years old and my mom asked, why are you here? And she said, well, I was kicked out. Then the next year she signed me up again, and it happened again. I was kicked out for not believing that God was mean, that we were sinners. So I've known from very young age that we're here to love, to learn about love, to learn to love and respect and forgive us as well as the people around us. It's difficult. It's very difficult. but I've known since a child that's what we needed. That's why we were here. So to go back to your questions, if I had any supernatural, I've had so many, but there are two if I have chance. I don't know if you have any other guests.
I have somebody waiting, so maybe we can.
Okay,
just do
I'll make
one.
it short.
And you can come back next time.
Yes, I will. So I've had too many, but there's one that really scared the bejesus out of me. I mean, not knowing that I could feel spirits. I remember we were driving, a friend and I were driving, and he was driving. And close by here, there is not a lot of mountains, but a few. So it was a really nice day. So we went up the mountain where there were a lot of people doing the same thing, taking pictures and everything. But we were cruising on the very top of this mountain. I forgot the name of it, close by in Frederick. And he's driving, and I'm just enjoying the day. It was just a beautiful day. And all of a sudden he stops and he says, "Look at that area." And it was an area that was round, and it was surrounded by trees. So in order to see inside, you just had to get to the entrance and look inside, because you couldn't see it from any other point of view. The moment that he stopped and said to me, "Look, that must be so nice to have a fireplace," because you could see it was big enough, to do what they call tailgating.
Mm-hmm.
So big enough for trucks to actually park right in front of what would have been a big fire pit. The moment he said that, I started feeling like I was short of breath and I couldn't breathe. And I felt the need to run. And he didn't notice that I was hyperventilating. I was just in really bad shape at the time. And I felt a pregnant woman. I felt the spirit of a woman that had been pregnant at the time when she went there. And in my mind, I could see the cars, the trucks, and I could see the fire, and I could feel her desperation asking me to help her because she's pregnant and they're harming her. And I don't know, in my mind, I thought, okay, she was sacrificed for one of those evil things that they do. So all I remember is just telling my friend, "Please drive away, just drive. And he's not reading my mind, because I am looking at his face and he's driving. And he couldn't see the panic in my face. And I just said, "Just drive, please drive away." And it took me about half an hour and a lot of water to just calm down.
Wow.
That was the first time that I remember feeling a negative presence, and being afraid. But again, in my mind, the things that I was feeling from time to time, I thought everybody else was feeling them. So it was like I heard it, I felt it. Half an hour later, I'm still remembering, but then I would let it go. Never again would think about it until I started watching these videos, interviews.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to say about that.
It was scary because I didn't know how to process it. Like, isn't he, for my friend, can he just hear what I'm hearing? Can he feel what I'm feeling? And I realized he wasn't, because I had to, please just drive away. And then he kept asking me, "So what the hell happened to you?"
Right.
It's like, I don't know what, but I just needed to get away from that place.
Wow.
And we did.
Wow.
So I have my list.
All right. I need to run because I've got 3 people waiting. all of a
I
sudden
know.
it happens that sometimes that it gets real busy at the very end. But
I know.
I hope you come back next time, and I'm looking forward to you telling us when you have figured out
Thank
what your
you.
job is going to be.
Oh, it's going to be a little bit of everything. A little bit of everything. As long as my mind is being creative and active, and it's
Mhm.
going to be a little bit of it. So I'll let you know. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Thanks for coming by. You take care.
Thank you. Thank you. You take care.
Bye
Bye.
bye. And next is, I think it's Ed. Ed's iPad. So let's see if we can get Ed in here. I think this was Ed that was there earlier asking how to get in. Ed Groves? I think that's Ed's last name. We'll find out. So, that's, well, here he is. He's got that heavy light source behind him. We're going to have to tell him. Ed, are you there?
Can you?
I
I
can
am
hear
here.
you. Nice to see you. Now, Ed, can you do one thing? Is there any way
What's that?
you can cover the light behind you? There you go.
That better?
And yes. Much better. Oh, the other one
sort
too.
of.
Almost.
Wait, hold on.
One more.
And
There you go. Awesome. Now I can see you. Yeah, because I was just that. It was
Yeah.
like we were in the light together.
well, it is really nice to talk to you. I've been watching your show for quite a while, a long time.
Pause it for
And,
one. I need to pause. I need you to stop for 1 second. You still
Sure.
have. It sounds like you still got YouTube going.
Yeah, I am turning.
Go to
it
the
down
YouTube
right
and turn
now.
down the volume.
I just did that.
Perfect. So where are you coming in from? Where are you zooming from?
I'm in Sacramento, California.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, but I've been watching your show for a long time, and I've
Thank you.
always thought about calling, and I appreciate everything that you do. And it's needed to get out there to show love,
Mhm.
to a lot of people, and to understand that there is another realm and experience, and we're all on a journey. But my experience is I've been a pastor's kid for years and years, and been raised Baptist,
Mhm.
and I noticed that I always had this disconnect, even though I was in the church and things like that.
Interesting.
But there's always a disconnect of not really understanding and not really resonating with a lot of the messages, until one day, as briefly, my family was in an automobile accident, and my sister died from the injuries. My mom fell asleep at the wheel.
Wow.
And I was maybe a year old, and I was thrown out of the window, landed into a sand embankment, and the only thing I got was a scratch on my head. That was it. But my sister didn't survive through the accident. She pretty much passed away a couple of days later.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom was always protective of me. She would not let me go anywhere.
Sure.
So I couldn't swim. So I told her I needed to, wanted to go with some friends to the pool. So she reluctantly let me go. And I was with a chaperone. And so the other big kids wanted me to, come down to the deep end because I'm in the shallow end, try to play around. And so they were saying, come on down. And I didn't want to be a wimp, as a kid, I didn't want to do any of that. And so I decided, let me crawl on the side of the, edge of the pool and go underneath the rope and go to the deep end, but hang on. But I missed the other side by mistake. And next thing I know, I'm in the water and I'm starting to panic because I can't really work my way up to the top. At least that's the way it felt. And then the next thing I know, I'm really panicking. I'm struggling. And then in my head, I said, I can't do this anymore. I can't hold my breath any longer. And I was going to just let go. But then I thought of my mom and my sister and how my mom would feel. And all of a sudden, it seemed like her voice echoed through my head of, don't drown, don't drown, don't drown. And I remember listening, and I said, I can't hold my breath. Then the next thing I knew, I said, I have to let go. And this screen in my head came up. In my foresight, in my it just appeared like a movie screen. Being in my mom's womb, all the experiences that happened to me, and I was at the age of 6. I mean, well, this was the age of 6 when this happened. So everything from that to then, I knew everything. And everybody's feelings, the people I interacted to, everything. And it stopped right there. And the voice said, don't drown. And I remember looking, I saw this girl's leg, happened to be in the water. I grabbed it, and it felt like I was lifted up out of the water onto the concrete. And I'm coughing, I'm crying. And finally the lifeguard comes over and she's like, you okay, you okay? I said, I was drowning. Then she said, what happened? I said, I couldn't get up, and I grabbed this girl's leg. And she goes, well, let's find the girl. There was no girl to be found.
Wow.
So yeah, you can chalk it up as maybe she ran away because she got scared, or it was an angel. And I believe that it was an angel there.
That's an amazing story.
Yeah. So that's my story, and I've always wanted to tell it that way.
I think it's amazing. I wonder if when the voice that you were hearing of your mom in your head was maybe at the same time or during the day at home, she was worried about you, and she was just mentally saying to yourself, don't drown, and you were hearing her prayers for you.
You know what? Who knows? Because my mom had dreams before the accident. When we were all in the accident, she begged my dad not to go on this trip. That, she thought something bad would happen, and it did. So I think maybe it was a premonition of hers. And sometimes you hear of people in different lifetimes and things like that, actually knowing what's happening, and maybe somehow or another in a distant realm or something, she knew. And when that accident happened, she was relaying a message to me in some way, form, or fashion. I mean, I've heard of that, but who knows?
I mean, to me, it's like you had an NDE. Basically, you had a life review, and you weren't breathing.
No, well, I was breathing, but I was about to just give up. And I said, I have to let go. And that's the word, is let go. And then all of a sudden, the screen came up.
Did you change it all afterwards? Did you have any abilities or anything?
Yes, I did. I know that later on, as I got older, people would come and have pains in their back or side. And just for fun, I would go, is it here? How did you know? I don't know. I just knew. There was a knowing, and I just knew it. But it wasn't until later on in my years that I came across, NDEs and things. And that's when the light bulb went off. When maybe something was given to me, and I didn't realize it. So now I'm kind of in that part of my life where I'm experimenting now, because I think there is a purpose for it all.
And
definitely.
maybe the veil has been opened for you, and you may find stuff like astral traveling and out-of-body experiences easy for you.
Well, I definitely want to. I definitely want to. So my main thing is on healing, and there was one instance where I did try that one time on just a random stranger that she was hurting, and I said, let me try something real quick. And I got into a certain realm of space, and I told her to say a few words. And I said, just know that it's all healed. And I walked away. She got up and she says, oh my God, it feels much better. And I heard a little kid go, are you a healer? It was so funny. But that's the first time I tried that, and it seemed to do something. So you never know.
You never know. I don't know if you saw the video that I did yesterday with Paul Wallace, but he's the one that I've originally learned about talking about the acquired savant syndrome and increasing, I probably should use his word instead. I usually say, like, I said yesterday, I think when I was recording, did you have any new psychic abilities? But he likes to use the word any new cognitive abilities after.
Oh, wow.
NDEs, I like that word better. And, you didn't see it. He believes that in our ancient history,
right.
Where we were, basically created with the help of ETs, and we were too smart, and they had to dumb us down. So stuff,
right.
Things that happened, like what happened to you, turns those abilities back on.
I think so. One guy that was on your show that really resonated with me was that RJ Spina.
Yeah, he was fantastic. He was really,
yes.
I thought he was amazing. He was one of my
favorite.
I
want to get his book. I want to get his book.
He was
so
one of
that's
my favorite, and I'm gonna have him back on eventually. I mean, we've already talked about it, and I just have found through experience with guests that if I have them on back too quickly, people don't watch again. It's like they need a little time for the audience to forget about the guest before I have them back on. Why, I don't know, but that's the way it is. But I thought he was amazing. If you guys haven't seen that video, it's like one of my personal favorites.
Oh yeah. I watch it 2 or 3 times.
Yeah,
because there's information on there that I'd like to get and to learn and to see if it all works. Definitely.
Yeah, right.
Definitely.
Well, Ed, you had an amazing experience. Thank you for coming on and sharing. I need to get going because I have 2 people in line. But thanks again for hanging out in the live stream. I appreciate you.
Hey, Jeff, thank you very much for what you do.
All right. You take care. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
You too.
All right. That was a great story. I don't know who's next either. I have a feeling it's... What order do they come in? Was he at the top or the bottom? I do not know. Let's go to Killy and see who this is. And if you are next, Jason, I apologize. Oh, there she is. Great. We just don't have your sound yet. I just need to get her sound in. You have to wait a minute. I need to make one of these. I mean, Penny, when I was telling you guys at the beginning, was so kind to make me all of these little cards. And if you're still here, Penny, maybe you can make one for me that says, I can't hear you. Your sound is not on yet. Because sometimes, as you can see there, it's connecting. Are you there? Oh, okay. Let's say ask to unmute.
Can you hear me?
Now I can. I was telling the audience that what happens with Zoom sometimes is the camera will be on, but for some reason it just takes an extra minute or so for it to like lock into the audio, and it just is nothing. And then it'll eventually say connecting to audio, and then it's there.
Oh.
All right.
Hi, Jeff.
Hello. Have you look familiar, but I would have surely remembered the name Killy, so you haven't been here.
No, my name is actually Kelly though, and no, but I do have a lot of paranormal stories, and a lot of friends think I'm like this, guru or something. They're always like, translate my dreams, and I tell them, calm down. I can't really do that. It only comes to me. But I'm actually 1 in 5 children. My dad has passed away, my late father. I've actually saw him a couple of times. And the funny thing is I have a 10-year-old daughter. 10 years ago, he must have been deceased prior to that 6 years. He actually walked up to me, came up to me and grabbed my daughter. And I thought I was going crazy. And I said, is that you, Dad? But he wouldn't let me touch him. And he told me she's his precious grandchild yet, because she was the girl and had the reddish blonde hair with the green eyes. My father's German and Irish, and my mother's Spaniard. So I took predominantly the Spaniard looking genes, but I have 2 siblings that look Irish. and there's three of us that look German and are like Spanish.
Mhm.
And so I have a twin sister, but one day there was a knock on my door at night at 3 a.m. and I thought, who the heck is at the door? And when I went to go look and I opened the blinds, I saw souls. There was about 9 or 10 of them, and they're like, Kelly,
Wow.
Kelly. I got really scared.
Yeah.
I ran to my room and I thought, I'm going crazy. Maybe I'm really sleepy. And my daughter got up and she was in the playpen at that time. She was about almost a year old. And she goes, Mommy, the people are here. The people are here. And that really scared me. And I said, well, I can't call the police because they'll think I'm crazy. So I just grabbed her and I ran to another room. I fell asleep in a deep sleep. And all of a sudden, the man that people say looked like Jesus that I would pray to and praise came up to me and said, I'm going to use you. We were in like this gray, desolate like atmosphere, and there was a white house to the left. All I could see is white house, and I would see these big cobblestones. I would see these big cobblestones, and when I was walking on them, they were literally the Bible. And he said, I'm going to use you. I want you to walk into the home. But I was scared and terrified. And I said, no, I don't want to do that. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. Sorry. And as I was saying that, he says, don't worry, I'm always with you. Call upon the name of Jesus. Well, I was able to see how each and every one of them died. And basically the whole point of him walking towards me was so that I can bring them to the light. And he says, you're going to bring them into a circle and you're going to stay out of the circle because there's going to be a light, but you're going to see that 2 people are not going to make it. They're going to go to outer darkness and they're going to stay in the void because they have fear. And I could not understand that at that time. And I was kind of terrified, but I was able to see flashes of light. Like the first person was an Asian person. He was in the New York subway. He was huffing into like a brown paper bag, and I learned it was a substance. The second lady, is in a domestic violence situation. She was very poor, and it was like Brazil. Never been to Brazil, but I have friends that are from Brazil, and they tell me stories of like, yeah, you just said Brazil. I'm from Rio de Janeiro. The other one would say I'm from here. And she drowned her daughter and drowned herself. There was a man that was a construction worker, Caucasian guy. I got to see that he was up high. I don't know what he was mounting, but he fell. It was a careless act at work. And lo and behold, as I turn on a candle, I'm led to light this candle. These people get taken up by these big, what I would say is archangels, but they didn't have wings on them. They just got shot up, like they shot up in the sky. And then I woke up. And when I woke up, I felt like 20 years of my life had went away and I slept so well, but I did not because they kept knocking on my door prior. And my twin sister, she calls me and she says, guess what I had a dream of? I had a dream that there was these 9 people and they were asking for help. And I would see them in like this white yucky house, and it was creepy. And I was walking on the dirt road, and there was these big slab of cement, but it would turn into like the Bible books. And all of a sudden I woke up and I told her what happened, and she got the chills. Now, this happens to me, my twin sister, a lot. Either she experiences something and I kind of see a little bit of it, or I'm the one who mostly sees the whole outcome of it. And one day too, I don't believe it. I never believed in UFOs. I wasn't one to believe in it. I used to actually make fun of people, and forgive me for doing that. I don't do that anymore. But I was in her backyard. She lives 45 minutes east of me, and I live on the west side. I lived in the upper scale, and she lives more in the downer, but she lives by the mountains, by Hart Park. We live in Bakersfield, California. And my brother-in-law was making a cookout, a barbecue. And all of a sudden, I look up and it's about 7 p.m. in the summer. And I see this craft and I tell him, Daniel, do you see what I'm looking at? And he got scared. He goes inside, but he pushes the sliding glass door and he locks me out. And I'm like, did he really lock me out? And I'm thinking, okay, I'll just flip the meat because it's already starting to char. And my twin sister was inside trying to grab all the ingredients for the macaroni salad. Her son was inside. I was left alone by myself. And I saw this craft hovering up and down, and it scared me. It jolted me. So I was knocking on the door, like, open the door, Daniel, open the door, please, please, please. He ignored me. He totally ignored me because he was frightened of seeing what I saw. Anyways, I got scared. I go through his backyard, the little gate door. I go my car and I take off. And this light is following me. And I'm terrified, terrified. So as I get to my gated community, I push in the dial code and my anxiety goes up and I'm frightened. As I drive to my home, I see these two entities on top of my roof, and I'm like, oh no, am I going crazy? So I say a little prayer, what I think is close to being a prayer. And I see these entities jump down. Now they were about 7-8 feet, and these things scared me. So I grabbed my key and I said, oh, I'm gonna have to make it into the front door. I don't want to get grabbed or taken. And I was like, oh God, I can't do this. So as I go up, we have about 2 steps, and then you got to walk about 4 feet to get to the door. A hand presses on my shoulder, and I felt a hot breath in the back of my neck. And I'm trembling, but I don't turn around. And luckily, with one shot, I was able to insert the key. As I turn the key, something pushes me. I trip and I turn around, and there's 2 dogs, yellow dogs, probably 5 feet tall. I'm 5'4", and I said, there's no way yellow dogs exist. Like if you were to put paint on Labradors and make them huger and bigger, but their eyes were so different. They were like an ocular way, and the way they simultaneously were looking at me. And I said, oh, you want to come in? They both at the same time did this 3 times. And I said, well, I'm not going to let you in. I rebuke you. And when I said I rebuke and renounce you in the name of Jesus, which was the first time I ever said something like that, they shrieked, shriveled up, transformed into the same entities that were on top of my roof, and they jolted and jumped. And when they leaped, I said they probably leaped about 150 feet on top of my neighbor's roof. We live in a big gated community. My mom saw something in her computer. She has a TV, and we have cameras everywhere. We have them in 6 places in the home. So she sees the cameras. She said she was in the rocking chair, and she runs and jolts. She saw that I came in, and she was terrified. And she goes, what did you bring in? What iniquities did he bring in? What were you doing? I said, nothing. And I was trying to explain to her, but I almost went catatonic. I was so scared. She was like, Kelly, calm down, calm down. She goes, just pray, pray. And I tried to explain to her, and I was crying and terrified. I didn't want to talk about it. So the next day I told her, and she goes, Kelly, those were demons. They can manifest in humans, because my mom was born differently. She used to have epileptic seizures when she was a kid. And she could talk to people that had passed away. Now, I had a best friend named Alex, and his grandma Terry was a good grandmother to me. I never really got to have a relationship with either grandmas because both of them were either races from both sides. My dad's family wasn't accepting of us because my mom's Spanish. Her ancestry's from Spain. Now, my mom's family members as well was not accepted of my dad's family because he's Caucasian, German, and Irish. So they had a different culture and background. So my mom and dad only had us 5 kids, and us 5 kids. And now that we're older, once my dad became deceased, I was able to come into contact with the folks from back east, from Pittsburgh, and now they love us. But I mean, it's a different kind of love because we really didn't grow up with them. Mm-hmm. But this lady, Terry, I would call her Grandma Terry. It was my best friend's grandma. She had came to me, and she never comes to my house. And it was real early in the morning. I said, oh, who brought you? She goes, oh, Pete. Pedro. She says, Pete, Pedro, her husband. And I said, oh, I go, well, what are you doing here? And at the time I had 2 poodles, Lady and Precious, and they weren't barking. They were just mellow. And my dogs bark when another human being comes in the house. But for some reason, they were in a deep sleep. They were on my bed. I used to have him on my bed. Not anymore. I have a poodle named Foofy now, and he's not allowed on couches or bed. But she came and she talked to me, and she looked so healthy. And I said, "Oh, Terry, I thought you were in the hospital. I thought you were sick. I just want to go visit you like 3 days ago. I thought you were sick, and they said you weren't going to make it." She had cancer. She was on an oxygen tank. And she goes, "Oh, mija, don't listen to that." She goes, "I just came to see how you doing and that I'm always going to be watching you and protecting you." I didn't think anything of it because I had a million things on my mind. I had to get ready to go to work. I was a teacher. And all of a sudden, she goes, "Okay, mija, I'm leaving. I just came to give you a hug and a kiss, and I was just around here." She used to go to yard sales all the time, and I'm thinking, well, it's Thursday. Why is she here? Anything get past my mind. And all of a sudden, I get like 200, 300 phone calls from my best friend Alex, his sister Lillian, and all of them. And I'm like, where are they calling me? And then the mom says, "Kelly, can you come to my house? I have something important to tell you." And I said, "Sure." And I go to her house, and she tells me, "My mom, Terry, just died." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" She was just in my room this morning, and she came to visit me. Well, lo and behold, I was crying. I was devastated. I didn't believe it. So I asked to go to the hospital, but they had already taken her body to the morgue in the hospital, and I didn't believe it. I was like, I was just talking to her. Well, to make a story short, the day of her funeral, she was wearing the same identical clothes that she came to visit me in on the day of her funeral. So sometimes I keep my mouth shut because sometimes I know, like I have a feeling, like a deep feeling that this person's going to pass and they end up passing away, or I see family members that already transitioned and I don't know if they're in the heavenly plane and the in between, what it is. It's a vast world. There's so many options out there. So, and they come and they tell me things, or they give me warnings of what is to come. And, but when the entities are negative, it's like, I don't know how to explain it, but something bad happens to one of my family members, or it's like a chain of events that happen in sequence, and like cars, all of a sudden one day, I saw an entity come in my house.
I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to stop you here because I've got 4 people waiting
okay.
on me. But
Yeah.
and it was funny. I was going to ask you right before you said it, have you ever called out Jesus's name for all these dark entities? And funny enough, like 30 seconds later, you actually answered my question before I even had to ask that. But Kelly, thank you for coming and sharing today. I hope you will come back and share some more with us.
I will. And I actually had many NDEs, and it's a long story. And I've actually seen what a couple of guests have came on to tell you, and about the heavenly and how there's 3 different levels and heavens. And I've even experienced what people would call hell and hellfire and stuff. And a lot of spirits, they tell me what it means, what the in-between is and stuff. But I would love to come back on your show. I was going to do it last week, but I had my daughter and her friends over, so they were loud. And I was like, yeah, I can't do it.
Well, maybe we'll see you next week.
All right. Well, may you have a blessed one. And I love you. And thank you for your show. And thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Bye.
God bless you. Bye-bye.
God bless you. Bye.
All right. Don't report. And let me get Jason in because now I know he is the next one up. Where are we on time? All right. Let's see what's going to happen. Jason.
Hey there.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Now we just got to see you.
Okay. Hold on a second. All right.
You're
Cool.
almost here.
Can you hear me okay?
There you are. All right. I hear you and I see you. How are you today?
It's a little bit choppy.
A little bit, yeah.
Doing good.
You've been on before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm deep poor art.
Right. And I think, is the facial hair new for you?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
I just got into, I'm going to be working at the Passion Play.
What's that?
Well, they reenact the last days of Jesus.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, it'll be neat.
what do you got to share with us today?
Well, I just happened to hear a little bit of one of your guests talking about spirits entering his body, or maybe not entering, but plaguing him.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
and he said eventually he called out to Yeshua and they went away. And I just wanted to tell people that that's been my experience as well. And with all this journey of these paintings that I did, and psychedelics,
Mm-hmm.
they've all led to Jesus.
Interesting that you did
I don't.
Interesting that you did psychedelics and they led to Jesus as well.
Well, they didn't. It was afterward.
Oh.
And actually, is there enough time that I could go over my story again real quick?
You've got 10 minutes. You tell
Okay.
me.
All right, I'm gonna try to do it. Okay, so I've done these paintings. I poured them. I blew them with my breath. They're very spiritual. They mimic spirits. You could probably see one of them up at the top of the screen. Were you guys able to see that one painting?
I don't know if I see
when it opened up. I could see it, but I don't know if you guys could see it.
I don't see a painting. I see like a
Oh,
bookshelf.
not right now.
Oh, okay.
Before my face came up,
I didn't
there was
see
a
that.
painting at the
I
top
didn't
of the
see.
screen.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Okay.
Do you have like a Facebook or somewhere if people want to go see it, or a YouTube channel,
No.
like a video of it?
No, I took them down. At the time, I was idolizing them and looking at them too much, and I prayed about it. And I kept opening up the Bible, and it was always about idols, idols, idols. And so I let go of it. But anyway, so I wanted to tell you a revelation I had. I did these paintings, and the very first one that I did was the Spirit of God hovering above the waters, like the beginning of Genesis. And then finally, later on, after I had done psychedelics and done even crazier ones that I believe are an abomination now, I was on my way to work one day and I had a vision, and there was a man and a woman in a yin yang, and they were fighting across the divide. And then all of a sudden, I was in another scene and I was above myself, and I could watch myself doing these paintings doing a painting on the ground and pouring the paint and blowing it across the canvas, and it was Jesus, and I could feel Jesus. And so I kissed him. I got thrown back into the yin yang again. Now only the yin yang was multifaceted, and the people were dissolving as the light was getting brighter, and I could see Jesus's arms spread wide, and I could feel his loving presence, and I could feel the strength. I could just tell he was powerful. And so anyway, this whole time I had been listening to George Harrison's My Sweet Lord, and it was all in perfect synchronicity. And I was following my GPS, and when the GPS finally stopped me, it stopped me at a Celtic cross. And the Celtic cross is a cross with the circle behind it with the holes bored out that would look like a yin yang revolving behind a cross. Then later that day, a guy was on my Instagram and reposted some of my artwork, and his name was New Corinthians. And so that was on my mind at the same time that I dropped 2 sockets out of my socket set on the ground, and they were both 5/16. And I, not even ever reading the Bible before, I just knew instinctively to look that up in the Bible and it was 2 Corinthians 5:16 through 21 was the first thing that popped up on my phone. And it said, "This day you are new, you are an ambassador for Christ," and was calling for reconciliation. So so with that said, ever since that day, the Holy Spirit's been leading me and showing me different things. And just recently, I went and I was looking into if I could visit Jesus through the mushroom. And the first thing that came up on my phone was a video that had 666 views. It followed by another video that I watched. And now this guy took the psychedelics, and he was put before God, and there was a roulette, kind of like a roulette wheel in front of him, and it had all the religions on it. And God was telling him that he could pick any religion he wanted, and that would take him to heaven. And it had stopped, and it landed on Muslim. And so in his heart, he didn't want to be a Muslim, and he rejected that. And he said, "I feel like I should be a Christian." And so he chose Christianity. But I messaged him and asked him if so he's a Christian. I asked him if he believes Jesus is the Son of God, if there's an anointed one that we have to go through before we get to the kingdom of heaven. And he basically said he wasn't that kind of Christian. And I myself am not, I don't claim to be a Christian or anything, but I've come to a crossroads where either every religion gets you to heaven, or they all have a common denominator, which is Jesus, and Jesus is what gets us to heaven. If you look even into like the Hindu religion, at the end times, Vishnu comes down in another form and rides a white horse to get rid of everybody that sinned, and hasn't acknowledged that they've sinned. Sorry if I'm being too serious.
Well, I mean, you don't seem serious to me. You're just like, I mean, maybe these topics are serious topics. It's not a comedy channel.
No, it really is serious. And I'm not telling anybody, I'm just telling my experience.
Mm-hmm.
And like your viewer was saying, when he prayed to Jesus, those demons went away. And the same thing has happened for me. And I've watched several testimonies, and all kinds of people say the same thing.
Well, let me stop you here. Since I'm running out of time, can we fast forward right to when you had the demon attacked you and how you called out to Jesus and they went away?
Okay, so for a while there, right when I was first, so I had those paintings and I wanted to stop idolizing them, and so I prayed for Jesus to give me a sign that it was him, that he wasn't, to let me know that if it was Jesus or if it was just God is all, what is it? And so he led me to a testimony of a young woman that found Jesus. But after that day, I started getting attacks at night. I'd wake up at 3:33, and I would have a dream. I'd have one of those dreams where there's something smothering you, and you can't yell. You're trying to scream, but you can't say anything. And then finally, I was able to say Jesus, and they were gone. And I've had that happen a couple times. And I've heard that happening to other people.
Mm-hmm. I mean, did you just hear the last guest that she had those demons that were trying to get in her house, and then she said Jesus and they took off?
Yeah, no, I didn't get to hear it. I was on the wait.
Oh, okay,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, so actually one night I actually had one come up to me in this dream, and it showed me something, and I spoke the words of what it showed me, and I felt it enter me for a second. But I was still able to call for Jesus and get it to go away. And I can't remember the words that it had me say. I think God has protected me from saying those words again.
Hmm.
But can I pray for everyone?
Yeah, quickly because I got to run to the next guest.
Lord, for anybody that's willing to give you a shot, I pray that some of you pray to Jesus and at least seek him out. I pray that whoever, I pray that he fills your heart and shows you for sure that he's real. He loves everyone. He wants us all. And there's nothing you could possibly do that would make him stop loving you. He loves you. He just he can't allow our sins into heaven. It's not us. It's not personal. It's the demons behind the scene that are corrupting this life. Jesus, please just be with us and guide us through these times, because we're going to be put through some hard stuff. And I just pray that everybody can see the light and not fall into the darkness. Thank you, Lord. Amen.
Amen. All right, Jason, I've got to run to the next guest, but thanks for coming and sharing with us today, and I hope I see you again.
All right. God bless you, man.
God bless you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, and here is Joe. And this is going to be my last guess. I'm already into overtime.
And like your viewer was saying, when he...
Hey, Joe.
Hi, Jeff. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, perfect.
How are you doing?
Great. How are you? And where are you zooming from?
Monroe, Michigan, the nicest place on the planet.
Wow. So what do you have to share with us today?
Well, first of all, I would like to say hi to Mara, because it's the JeffMara podcast,
Right.
and nobody shouts you out.
Oh, well,
I can't see you, but I see you.
Okay, and well, she's on headphones, so and there's a little bit of delay, so she'll probably hear you in a
Okay,
few
no
minutes,
worries.
But she'll say.
So I am a polite Midwesterner,
Mm-hmm.
and I promised myself weeks ago that this would be on my bucket list to get on your show.
Cool.
Because I watch it avidly, but somehow the last 4 weeks I have actually had something to do on Saturday night, and despite the fact that I love your show, I thought that was a positive thing in my life.
Mm-hmm. That's great. And actually, you may have not missed much because I was gone for about 4 weeks.
Oh,
I got
good.
trolled really hard, and I couldn't figure out how to stop it. But I think ever since I've come back, we've stopped it. So I think we're good.
Oh, good. I'm so glad to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so anyway, I know that this is running long.
Mm-hmm.
I will come back on.
That's okay. You're already here. Let's. What do you got to share with us?
Do you really want to hear a story?
Yes. And
Okay.
we've got about, let me see, how many other people are here right now? Almost 250 people are here to hear your story.
Oh, that makes me nervous.
Oh, I should have said anything.
So anyway, I am recently widowed. My husband died about 18 months ago.
Wow.
And I have always been interested in a lot of paranormal stuff, and they had some weird things that I don't know, that I've taken notice to in my life. But I had this dream about my husband Glenn years before he died, and in the dream I was a young person coming from a bad background. He took me in. He was a rich man. He he got me to do his business, and sometimes I actually killed people, and it wasn't cool like Kill Bill. It was sometimes things that I just had to do because I worked for him and I came from a rough circumstance. It was the best that I could do. And there was a time where he called me and he was in trouble, and I knew he was in trouble because I knew that he had a lot of money and it was not from good sources. And so I left with him in a helicopter, and we went to this place. It was like a gated community. It was in another country, and somehow we were safe there, and I didn't know what he was doing wrong. But when I went there, there were all these people. They all had houses. We were all in the same little neighborhood, and I started to recognize all the people in the neighborhood. And the people in the neighborhood started to remind me of people that I knew, but I didn't know them. And then I started to kind of wake up. And as I woke up, I realized these were people that I knew in my other lifetimes. And my husband, who died, had health issues. And his story in this dream was that he had found a way to cheat death, but I had grown old and died. And so he found a time where I was going to reincarnate and found all the people that we loved and put them in this gated community. And I was angry with him when I woke up. I don't know if anybody's had one of those dreams that feel so real that you have those emotions when you wake up. That's what I had. And I woke up and I felt like you knew the person I was. You knew that I wouldn't want to hurt anybody. Why would you try to cheat fate and destiny so that we could still be together and cheat all these people out of what they needed to be doing at this time? Why would you bring them all here in this lifetime to be with us when that's not what they're meant to do? And after he died, it felt like it was a way of understanding how people you love can die and not be here anymore, and how you can't change those things, how you have to go on as a human being, how I don't want to be that. It's a little weird. And then I've also had several dreams where I've gone to other planets after he died and gathered his essence and brought it back with me. And when I woke up, it felt like his body was laying on top of me. And that's a really long story. And I know that you've got a lot of people, but that's what I wanted to share.
Well, my condolences, my sincere condolences for the loss of your husband.
Thank you.
This dream was was it a long time before he actually transitioned?
2-3 years.
3 years.
Transition's a good word. Thank you for using that. That's nice.
Because we just go from one existence to another, right?
Well, I've always thought that and wanted to believe it. I think this experience is helping me in a lot of ways to open up to more of an expansive idea of who and what we are.
Yeah, it was just one dream. It wasn't a series of dreams, right?
It's not a series of dreams, but I have a series of dreams of me being on other planets.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And I have them written down. I have some dreams that are very real, like I was actually there. A lot of dreams where it's real, I'm actually there, and then it turns more into a dream. There's less details, it's fuzzier.
Were any of them the water planet?
No, this is a weird detail that I can't explain, but I think my husband, if there is such a thing as aliens and we are star seeds and we come from other planets, my husband was definitely from a water planet. Diver Dave was his nickname. He was a swimmer and a lifeguard. The man was just in water all the time.
That's cool. Yeah, I've had like 2 or 3 guests that say that they went to the water planet during their NDE. So that's why I kind of brought it up. And
No, that's fascinating. I love it when that comes up. I'm very interested in that as well.
Have you ever considered getting hypnosis done to see if
I had that done. I had a past life regression done. I paid $300 for it, and I'm sorry to say that, but that's a lot for my budget.
Yeah.
And it was a great experience overall. I felt like I connected with my husband. I felt like he gave me messages. I felt like messages that he had been giving me that I was like, I don't know, connected with all of that. But at the same time, from listening to your channel and some other stuff, I actually thought when I went through the past life regression, I would be there with my council of elders, and I would have this almost out of body experience. And I got some images and some things that were really meaningful to me, but it wasn't like some of your guests.
Right. Yeah. And I've never went through like one of those, like a full past life regression. So it's like, I can't even comment on that. I mean, I've never, went out and actually paid for it as a service. Right. So
why?
I don't know. I just haven't, I guess.
You seem like a person who likes to do things, and even when you do things, you like to share them with other people. That seems like that would be a really cool thing for you to do. I know you don't like to be the star of the show, but that almost makes you more interesting that you don't like to be the star of the show.
1 second. My wife is her name's Jo. And the funny thing is, one of my guests is actually, and my guests, a lot of them offer me stuff as well as for free. And one of them, if not more than one, has offered me to even do past life regression for free. But I never really want to, I don't accept it because I don't want to be, in the position to be promoted. As a service to the guests in exchange, and I think it's fair for every guest that comes on the channel to let them promote, whatever they have to offer, whether it's a book, a class, or whatever, a service. But I don't want to be in the position where I have to promote them, and you know what I mean? Like I have to, I did their service, and to say their service was amazing. So I try to stay separate in that way from the guest, and try to, so I don't, you know what I mean?
No, that makes perfect sense, because you really give off that energy as a very honest person who's trying to just give a platform to something that people are interested in and bring people together. Right. And I appreciate that very much about you and Mara.
Well, thank you. Yeah. And so, and even as I said, I don't give my opinion. People ask me, people write to me, or they ask it like in the comments or whatever, what do I think? And I try never to give an answer, because it's not about me. It's about you and whoever's watching. It's, for you to make up your own decision without, what my opinion doesn't matter. Only your opinion matters.
No, if we had a longer conversation, I have a line of work where I do very much that same thing. And I understand. Right. I try to make it about us or everybody and not me.
Yeah. Well, maybe you can come back next time and tell us about those planets.
Thank you so much for having me.
Jeff,
you. I just want to say I appreciate you more than I have the words and vocabulary to express, but you are so kind and genuine with people. And that really means a lot to me.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Have a great rest of your weekend and take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, guys. So that was another Saturday, and it got busy here in the end. So that was great. I need more of you guys to come in the beginning, so we'll be really busy the whole time. And again, thank you guys for coming and hanging out with me this Saturday night. Again, if you want to join Discord, the link is in the description. If you want to check out my other channel, it's there. Those are short NDEs, and it's an NDE only channel. And what else? I think that's it. That's all that's in the thing. And again, tomorrow I'll be posting an NDE, and it was from a guy who got shot 7 times. So I hope you enjoy that video. And that's it. Have a great rest of your weekend. God bless you, and I love you guys. Good night.